Okay, so this is a quick video just to make sure that we understand what's going on with all these names, major, minor, perfect, augmented, diminished. Okay, so as we've talked about in class, for this class, we're only talking about seconds, thirds, fourths, and fifths. Okay, and these are examples of size, interval size. Size of an interval, if you recall, is the number of letters that you can count between the two notes from the lower to the higher, counting all of the letters of the alphabet that it encompasses, one after another. So from C to E is a third, from D to A is a fifth, etc. For seconds and thirds, we use two different types of qualities to further describe these intervals. You can call them as a major second or a major third, or a minor second or a minor third. Okay, and the relationship here between these two is that a major interval, okay, when you take a look at the number of half steps it encompasses, so for a major second, for example, has two half steps. A minor second is going to be one fewer half steps, it's going to be smaller, so it becomes one half step. Why is this important? Well, if you remember the number of half steps in the major second, which is 2, or the number of half steps in the major third, which is 4, and when it comes time to evaluating intervals on your own, you find two notes that you know are a third apart. It has 4 half steps, so you know that, oh, this is a major third. However, if you come to two notes that are a second apart, and you find that there's only one half step between these two notes, let's say C to D flat, for example. So maybe when treble clef, so C to D flat, right? And so there are only one half step between C and D flat is still a second. So you see that it's not a major second because there's not enough half steps to make that happen. So it's actually a minor second because it fits this. It's a second with one half step. Okay, so the relationship between the major interval and the minor interval is always one half step. Minor interval is one half step smaller. By the same token, okay, this is the same kind of logic that we can use for the fourths and fifths. For the fourths and fifths, we use three different words. Okay, we use the word perfect, augmented, and diminished. A perfect interval is the one that I'm asking you to remember. So perfect fourth, okay, for example, has 5 half steps, and perfect fifth has 7 half steps. Right? And that's all listed in a chart on Blackboard on the left called interval charts. Okay, so as you might imagine, the relationship between augmented and perfect, augmented has one larger half step, number of half steps. So let's say you have perfect fourth, has 5 half steps, right, as I mentioned. An augmented fourth would have 6 half steps. Still a fourth, but if you find a fourth with 6 half steps, that's an augmented fourth. Same token, if you find one that has 1 half step fewer than the perfect, so let's say you find a fourth that has, shift the camera here a little bit, a fourth that has only 4 half steps, okay, okay, that would be a kind of a diminished fourth. For if I'm taking fourths as the example, right? But the relationship is still the same for fourths and fifths. An augmented interval is 1 half step larger than perfect, and a diminished interval is 1 half step smaller than perfect. So, for example, if I let's say I find these two notes. Let's say it's see, we'll take this example here. Right. So you have two notes, C sharp and F. You know that this is going to be a fourth because we're counting the size by counting the number of letters that are encompassed between the two on the musical alphabet, C, D, E, and F. Right. However, not only is it a fourth, you also have to figure out how many half steps there are between these two notes. And if you count from C sharp to F on the keyboard, remember for counting half steps, we always have to refer to the keyboard. You'll count that from C sharp to F, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps. So a fourth with 4 half steps, which is one fewer than the perfect fourth, which has 5 half steps. Okay, so if you found a fourth that has 4 half steps, okay, you have an example of a diminished fourth. Okay, so from C sharp to F is an example of a diminished fourth.